Hi, I'm Dan from Brighton Accommodation Agency, and today I want to talk a little bit about what jointly and severally liable as far as your tenancy agreement really means for you. So, when you take on a tenancy agreement, it doesn't matter so much whether it's your girlfriend or your best mate in a 1 or 2 bedroom flat. It really more applies to a 6 bedroom, 7 bedroom HMO if you're moving into a student house, say, because this time you're moving in with people who you don't really know that well. So once you take over the tenancy, you'll have 6 individual people as you come to us. However, once you've signed the contract, and the contract will usually have a term in it called jointly and severally liable. This means that as far as we're concerned, you are one group. You're not 6 individuals, you are one group. And this applies not just to you as a tenancy, but also as far as the deposit goes. So let's give a case study. If you've got 6 people living in a house and Dave's been a bit of a through this whole term, he hasn't paid his rent correctly, he's maybe been smoking in his room, lighting candles and smashing the odd door in. At the end of the tenancy, if these things are not resolved, then you will all be liable for them. So when it comes to the dilapidations against your deposit, which again I reiterate is one whole, not 6 different bits. If there are, say, £700 worth of Dave's arrears and £500 for a new door that he's kicked in, this is going to come off all of your deposits because you are jointly and severally liable. In the court of law, I cannot separate you. So we once had a group of 5 girls and they all moved in, and 4 of them fell out with one immediately, and they kind of bullied this girl out, which wasn't fair or anything, but there's nothing that I could do with it. This girl, she really tried to come and replace herself, but the other 4 were being really, they had a real opposition to anyone that she would bring in. They didn't accept anyone. They weren't gonna make life easy for her. So I had a chat with them and I said, come on, you've really got to grow up. You've really got to make sure that we all work together, even if you don't like them. When this tenancy ended, there was possibly about £5,000 worth of arrears because this girl hadn't paid any rent the whole time she was there. So this went to court, and I said to the judge that I would like to take the guarantor to court, who was the guarantor of the person who had moved out. It wasn't a moral judgment on that person, but the legal side was she hadn't paid her rent. The judge turned around and said, well, how much is in the deposit? And the deposit would just about cover all of the arrears. So actually the 4 girls who hadn't allowed her to replace herself within the tenancy were all penalised because the deposit was looked at by the judge as being one whole deposit against one tenancy. I couldn't separate them. So that's the basic term of a jointly and severally liable tenancy agreement. At the end of the tenancy, you are all jointly and severally liable for any rental arrears or any dilapidations that any single party of that tenancy may have made. So one thing I would say as we're drawing this to a close is, if you do have a problem within the tenancy, if you've got a problem tenant as one of your groups, it may lead on to other things. They might have problems at home that you need to address. Start talking about it and bring the problems to the agency, because if you bury your head in the sand and it gets to the end of the tenancy, then you're going to be hitting the pocket. So my top tip for this talk is make sure you read through your contract. If there are any terms that you really don't understand, either go and get a legal professional to help you. Google most of them and it should give you a good answer, or go and speak to the agent and they should be able to tell you clearly and concisely exactly what your liabilities are for yourself and your housemates. I've been Dan from BAA. We're trying to release a video like this every single week, which is supposed to help you understand the terms of your tenancy agreements and your responsibilities as a tenant. Like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.